All right, let's go.
Toy Power Podcast is a free podcast made possible by the support of our awesome Patreon sponsors. Head to toypowerpodcast.com and see how you can help.
Oh yeah, this is power.
Hello and welcome to Toy Power, the podcast where we talk toys and everything pop culture. G'day, it's Trent here, and it is fantastic to have your company today for episode 411. This week on the show, we hit up all the latest news and then get into a Patreon question and answer. Joining me today in the Toy Power studio, things are heating up with Scotty Too Hottie.
I am back. I have
Hey, he's
survived my bout with bubonic plague and feeling much better for it.
Beautiful. And the man who puts the taco into Toy Power, I was going to say... the man,
Go on.
The man,
What were you going to say?
the man who puts the taco in X-Parco. It's Frank.
We had tacos for dinner tonight, actually.
Fantastic.
I'm not sure how that's relevant to the story.
X-Parco rhymes with taco. Got to try these things. They don't always land, but it's always fun to go. Hey, gentlemen, how are you? Scotty's back in action after a bout of the plague,
Yeah,
black
man
fever.
flu.
Yeah.
COVID, probably.
Had
you name it all. I had hives. I had lumps. I lost my hair. I don't know. I grew a beard. It was insane.
Well, you're back, and Ben is a mission today. I think he is on a work conference of some description.
Yes.
But he was flying the Toy Power flag solo last night at the Radical Rewind for True Lies. I unfortunately made the decision to stay home and watch the Adelaide Crows go down.
Whoops.
First time a minor premier has exited after the two rounds of finals, which is not good. But anyway, we won't talk about football. We've got.
We could.
I don't want to. I reckon we'll do a little bit of this.
3, 2, 1.
Cue music.
So what have you got for me?
I'm Batman.
But she's got a new hat.
Do we have a button or a sound for when you get something wrong on this show?
Wonk, wonk.
Yeah, I've got this one wrong.
I think we all did, to be honest.
This Star Wars crowdfunding of this what is it?
The LAAT
T
gunship.
With a little eye or something? Is it
ILAT? It's like an
eye?
IMAC thing. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's funded.
Yeah.
And
Got-
Coleman Trebor. Get your Coleman Trebor figure.
Tier 1. Like,
Yeah.
I think from what I saw, there was a variety of screenshots floating around. Oh, it made it with like 24 hours to spare or something. I think when we looked at, there was like 9 days to go.
Yeah.
And it was still like, I want to say 4,000 short of the goal.
Yeah.
So
And it hadn't moved for a long time.
It was just really static. And then I think as it sort of crept over the line, still with, I think, only a day or two remaining, they just ticked over the, all right, it's funded tier mark. And then it's like all these people, as we sort of have spoken about previously, all these people who were just like, oh, is it going to get made? Okay, it got made. Bang, they've jumped an extra 2,000 to get to tier 1, which is pretty nuts.
Interesting. It seems to be the way I think people will do, sort of whatever reason, hold off. Interesting. It's one of the Star Wars items that, we did the Ghost. HasLab did the Ghost, and that kind of got us all those figures on card, and that was a big part of it. It's really disappointing, I think, for fans to only get the 1 3 3/4 action figure. I mean, these things are not terribly expensive at retail. Here, they're sort of like a $30 figure. I feel like Hasbro should just throw fans a bone and just chuck in an extra one. They won't.
No.
But I feel like
because
that would be a nice
they can
move.
now sit on those other two figures that
Yeah.
have no doubt been tooled and made and everything. And in a year and a half, 2 years' time, at San Diego 2027, hey, here's the figure you never got because it didn't get funded. So
Drop him in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good news.
It's
Always
good news for Star Wars
Yeah.
fans.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's super encouraging for anyone who wants to back these things that there's hope. Regardless of how desolate it can look sometimes,
Yeah.
there's hope. And it's really encouraging for the guys who put the crowdfunders out there that we can still get these things across the line.
Could you imagine being part of that team and
Yeah.
just seeing it with days to go? You're like, oh my God, we're not going to make it. And then community rallied or the numbers were fudged, one of the two. So
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so
Bloody-
coming from the depths of nowhere, Super 7 this week have come out with a whole host of reveals and news, and I kind of feel this is in the wake of their lack of presence from San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, fair.
They didn't have a whole lot there, and I think what's happened in the background is a lot of the stuff they were waiting to come in for the con that hadn't arrived on time is starting to make its way through now, and they're making a bit of a splash. And I actually think that's pretty cool because now they've kind of got the whole stage to themselves to launch a whole bunch of really interesting things. And well, the first thing that came out this week was a Godzilla figure from the Millennial series Godzilla vs. Destroyer. This is the film that sort of winds up that whole Millennial run for the Godzilla chain. Fights Destroyer, ultimately loses and sacrifices his life.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. It is 25 years old if you haven't seen it. Towards the end of the film, the big guy goes into meltdown. His body starts to glow like he's a nuclear reactor, and he's in that meltdown phase. And this version of Godzilla is actually pretty cool because now, unlike what we've had in the past, where he's just sort of painted orange to show that sort of effect, or he's come in sort of that molded translucent orange plastic, this time he lights up. He comes with a light up feature, so
that's
you can
cool.
actually see that glowing internal reactor inside of him. It looks pretty amazing. I don't mind it. And there's also some additional special effects that come with him as well. Sort of like, I think this is when he goes into meltdown, and it's almost kind of like that scene in Ghostbusters when the ghosts get released from the containment unit.
Yeah.
It's like the spirit
energy
energy
burst.
is bursting out of his body. So you get a couple of representations of purple energy exploding from his body there as well.
I think all the stuff around his neck is like meant to be like smoke effects, is it? Like, because he's overheating type thing.
He's
Very
essen-
cool.
He's essentially 1,200 degrees. That's the
Yeah.
temperature he's reached in order to go to meltdown. So yeah, he's burning and he's
Yeah.
cooking and boiling on the inside. It's quite amazing. It's really, really cool.
This
As-
is in the Ultimates.
This is in the Ultimates from Super 7. As like anything from Super 7, if you buy it directly from them, you get a special limited pack-in, and that's an alternate head with Godzilla. And we've got a very unique representation or so of that Godzilla breath coming through. What it uses at the end of the movie, it's all orange. It's got a nice sort of ropey purple hue around it as well to make it sort of stand out and look real pretty. I think this is pretty nice. This
That's a
looks
must-have
pretty cool.
alternate head.
Yeah.
And I wonder as well if that translucent burst of energy would get a bit of the light up happening through the head. Maybe,
yeah.
maybe not sure. But look, that is a cool figure. I wonder on price. Do we know price?
I mean, don't these run a little bit more expensive than your average Ultimates figure? Because Godzilla is such a big boy.
So with the tariffs on board, this will run at $95 US.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, it's up for order now from Super 7. Generally, they sit there for a good 30 days to jump on board to back this one. They take anywhere between 8 to 12 months to sort of manufacture and get shipped out. So if you love your Godzilla and you want something real bright and colourful to sit on
Yeah.
your shelf, this is one to have.
There you go.
He would stand out on the shelf for sure.
And speaking of things that aren't quite so bright and colourful,
The opposite.
the opposite. So this is another version of Godzilla that's come out. It's a reissue of the Dark Horse Godzilla comic book cover done by Arthur Adams. I've got this in my collection where he's done it in the nice green hue. He comes with a little Arthur Adams figure that he holds in his hand, so that's pretty cool. This time, Godzilla comes in grayscale. He does look pretty nice. Comes with the blood effect around his mouth and his nose, so there's a bit of colour in there to sort of help make him pop. Comes in a very, it's a brand new package here that they've done for him, and the sort of the title across the bottom there, Godzilla King of Monsters, is done in the very traditional Godzilla print from the comic books. It was also represented in the Dark Horse comic like that as well. This guy is also an ultimate, so you get the different pack-ins. There's an additional head in there. There's a couple of sets of extra arms and hands in there as well to do various poses and the likes for the big boy. You can purchase it 2 different ways. There's a standard version, which is $95, or if you want something a little special, you can get the version that is hand-signed by Arthur Adams, who did the artwork for the Dark Horse comics, $120 USD, if that's up your alley.
I mean, you think about the difference in those two prices, it's probably what you'd pay at a con to get his signature, I would imagine.
Well, yeah, essentially when I met up with him, $20 Australian, and he signed my Dark Horse comic.
Yeah. So it's interesting that it's coming then direct from Super 7, and it'd be one of those things, obviously, as you said, the pre-order model. Poor old Arthur would know exactly how many signatures he's got to pump out once the order is fulfilled.
What's that? It's $25, right? $25 US, and if for the signature. So if they're splitting that, let's just say 50-50. I mean, $12.50 to sign your name in the comfort of your own home as Super 7 delivers, X quota.
Here's all the stuff delivered to you.
I'd be quite happy with that.
$12.
Yeah.
Do it all in an evening and make some bank.
I reckon that's good.
Interesting.
Oh, Blockies. Now, actually, this is a great title. Ben, I think, who's put the run sheet together. Blockies knows no bounds in the galaxy. They are expanding into Star Wars. Of all things, that's a big property and license to pick up. This is really interesting. I was looking through the first wave of figures, and we know Blockies, they've done Transformers is probably what they're becoming best known for here in Australia, but they've done a few other things.
They've done like Kamen Rider, they've done some Marvel stuff.
They've done a bit of Marvel, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of, because they're an Asian company, so there's a lot of like, I think they've even done Naturo and some stuff like that. But as I've seen some of their other stuff where you just go, I don't know what that property is, but damn, it looks cool.
Yeah.
Whereas this time they're going, all right, well, Transformers is going pretty well. They're up to wave 8, I think it is. Let's get one of the other massive tentpoles of Western culture and go with Star Wars.
A lot of characters with helmets, and I was sort of going, I wonder how they produce likenesses to actors at this sort of scale. We do have the Ahsoka, and it looks really cool. I mean, it's not an exact likeness, but it's a good representation of the character. So we're getting Din Djarin as the Mandalorian in his sort of Beskar armor, Grogu, who comes in his baby capsule, IG-11 Boba Fett, that is Boba Fett from the Mandalorian show, and from the Book of Boba Fett. We got the Armorer, Ahsoka Tano, Moff Gideon. Now, Moff Gideon is in his kind of Dark Trooper, black armor with his helmet. Stormtrooper and the Incinerator Trooper, which is essentially a Stormtrooper with a red shoulder pauldron and kind of like a red stripe going down his helmet and sort of a red triangle at the bottom of his face. I'm not sure if he shows up in one of the shows. He looks like something from a video game.
Well, this whole wave is Mandalorian themed,
oh, okay. Maybe
I believe.
There.
So
yep.
there's it's been a while since I've seen season 1 and 2 of Mandalorian. There's probably a flamethrower trooper in there at some point. But yeah, these are all like, I think rather than just go with, okay, we've got Star Wars license, let's get you a Luke and a Leia and a Vader or whatever. They've gone, let's scale it down to Mandalorian, which probably still one of the more popular arms of the Star Wars franchise. But limiting it just to that, they've sort of really kept it all in theme. It's a bit interesting when you think of their Transformers stuff, where in a wave you don't get a wave of G1, you get this is the Shattered Glass Optimus Prime, and this one's from animated. Like they sprinkle in bits and pieces. So I think it's interesting. They've gone, this is all from Mandalorian. That's what the wave is like. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out.
I think this is going to be really, really good in terms of a move for Star Wars merchandise, right? And I'll tell you why. You pop into any store, you go to the toy store, and you want to get something Star Wars in terms of like a character representation, an action figure. You've pretty much got two options. You've got the Vintage Collection and you've got Black Series, right?
Yep.
Now, they're going to set you back between $30 Australian and $50 to $60. You could get a deluxe for anywhere
series,
up $65, $70, $80, right? These are not prices for kids. If you walk into a Toy World and there's a blocky set there for $10, $12, and you're getting a 3 3/4, 4-inch figure. All the articulation, all the detail. Yes, they're a model kit sort of
Put it
base.
together, yeah.
So they're not super realistic like a Black Series. But I tell you what, for 1/5 of the price, you're doing pretty well. And I think this will get toys back to kids. I think this will make Star Wars affordable again.
I mean, you look at that second image where you've got the actual pictures of the figure. Out of context, you'd go, "Oh, are these 3 3/4?" Like, they don't look like blockies in the same way that the Transformers ones do. Transformers, and I guess it's in nature of the property, but they have a lot of shared parts. If you look closely, the legs on nearly all the Transformers blockies are the same, just with different embellishments here or there. That doesn't, I mean, I'm sure there is reused parts in the Stormtroopers and the like, but they all look pretty unique and individual. They don't look like, oh, we've painted, Boba Fett's armor from the Stormtrooper sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's really well done. It'd be interesting to see, proportions and that. When you think of my experience with the Transformers blockies, is they're quite blocky, pardon the pun. They're square shoulders and stuff, whereas these are all humanoid sort of shapes, and they look. Look, we're only looking at a still image, of course, but they look great.
They look great, yeah. They look like the Stormtrooper to me. Looks a little bit, not super deformed, but a little bit chunkier. Just that slightly bit bulkier than what you might see if you were getting this in 3 3/4. You just get a more slender. But they look great. Like, that takes nothing away. It's sort of a bit of a stylistic choice. And I think it really works. I hope these are really popular. And I hope they hit mainstream toy stores and kids can get, and play with Star Wars action figures.
Absolutely.
That would have been, as a kid growing up, if I saw those Kmart, Target, whatever it is, super trouble. I would have collect every week pocket money going to buy one without question. And I can only hope kids today get that sort of joy and excitement of being able to do the same thing. Walk into Kmart, walk into Target, hell, walk into Coles and Woolworths here, like a supermarket.
Yep.
And they're sitting there next to the Hot Wheels or something like that. Mum, that's what I want. Get me that.
Done.
Absolutely amazing to see that.
Mm-hmm. You know what else is amazing?
Jeepers.
The very fact that this Lego set number 75419 even exists.
Yeah.
We are, of course, talking about the newest, biggest Death Star you have ever seen. 9,000 pieces. A price tag to match that, of course. 38 minifigures. Measurements of that's 70 centimeters, right?
70 centimeters.
70 centimeters. It is the Death Star, right? So it's a gigantic ball. They've gone for the it's sliced down the middle, so you can sort of see all the rooms and that sort of stuff. This thing is ridiculous. $1,500 Australian, as far as the price tag is concerned. But we were just sort of talking before recording. Trent, what's your average sort of Star Wars Lego minifig go for?
Oh, look, I'm not sure what the average price is. Obviously, the one, there's the super rare Boba Fett that you're going to be paying $1,000 for that came with Cloud City. And then you've probably got your run-of-the-mills that get repeated. But I tell you what, where you've got unique or sort of hard to get, or they change the print run, you're probably around $100 mark to pick up a figure for one of the for one of the rarer ones that have had single releases. So I think the fact this comes with 38 minifigs, you can off the bat. These will, and again, I don't know, those Stormtroopers, they're probably generic, right? But there's a lot of unique characters in here. I reckon you get a Krennic, you get a Tarkin, you get a really cool Luke. You get all these versions of Luke. In
three
fact,
versions of Luke.
Three versions of Luke. But I tell you what, you get an Imperial dignitary.
Hell yeah!
And that is, I reckon that is a massive callback to the Kenner. Last 17 Imperial dignitary came with the coin back in the day. I got him for Christmas. I still got my Imperial dignitary. That is fantastic. And he's up there in the throne room scene. I think you could almost, you can bank on these minifigs being minimum $500 resale. I reckon if you wanted to resell these, you would easily get $500. Easy.
Yep.
Because there'll be a lot of people that can't afford this and will just go, you know what, I want Imperial dignitary. I'm happy to pay $100 for it to get it. But the breakdown of the scenery in this, you've got the throne room, right? Now, it's probably one of the biggest compared to maybe the Imperial Tydirium shuttle bay. It's one of the biggest sections, really cool. It's got that staircase. You can recreate the battle between Vader and Skywalker and Jedi. And you've got interestingly, you've got the Royal Guards in there. So, right, this is almost like Death Star 2 in a Death Star 1. But I love that in any event because, maybe there was a throne room in Death Star 1 that we never saw it. You've got the trash compactor, which I think you need. You've got like I said, the landing bay. It's got a little mini shuttle Tydirium or an Imperial shuttle. It's sort of like the canopy looks like it could fit sort of one minifig, maybe, if you kind of crammed it in there. It's that sort of scale to fit in there. That's cool. You've got that scene where Han goes in, guns blazing, and there's all those stormtroopers in that room, and he runs sort of past them. You've obviously got the Death Star control room with them firing it up. The scene where Luke and Leia swing across the chasm, you've got that. You've obviously got Obi-Wan there tinkering and trying to shut down the power generator to get the Falcon out. You've got the boardroom with all the Imperials.
That's awesome.
You've got the room where 3PO and R2 are locked in and they think, trash compactor, they're dying, they're dying, we're too late. And then you've got like an elevator shaft that seems to kind of almost connect all the different levels.
Yeah, wow.
It's a really, and I missed one. Is that Vader's room? That one on the far right in the middle? That might be like that little capsule that Vader goes into.
The
little
regeneration chamber type thing.
Regeneration thing. It's a really, really nice set.
It's insane.
It's I guess you'd call it a diorama. Is probably the best way. Like it's the depth of it. The shuttle bay might be, I'm just sort of looking at this, maybe like 20 studs deep. And there are other aspects that are probably, 4 to 6 deep in terms of some of the corridors. And then you've got like the throne room sort of juts out a little bit. So different depths. But it's almost like it's a cutaway. It's a cutaway. Like, it doesn't curve around. You don't you don't turn this thing around and have a spherical shape.
Is there, that's what I was going to ask. Is there something on the other side?
It actually looks a bit rough on the other side.
Yeah,
you can actually see the, where things are built sort of thing.
Right.
I think this is very much designed to be a one-side
from
viewing.
one angle.
Yeah, correct. Whereas, like, you look back at, we've got 2 other Death Stars here. We've got almost one that's in the round. They tried to make it, it's minifig scale. It's about like a quarter of the size.
Yeah.
And, I can see what they were trying to do.
It's like they've taken the Death Star, but then had to peel the skin back, so you can actually see, put them in the various rooms and that sort of thing. I reckon the other one that came out, sort of the second Death Star, without being Death Star 2 necessarily, the way that it's sort of half finished like that, that to me is like almost in a way a better display piece. It's got the little, micro scale ship sort of attached to the outside and stuff like that. That iconic shot of it's a moon that's sort of half built.
Yeah,
that screams iconography to me. But this one is impressive, A, because of the scale, but B, because, as you just pointed out, all those rooms are scenes from the movie.
Yeah.
And they're all, to minifig scale, and you get a veritable army of minifigs to go with. It's amazing.
It's impressive. I'm noted, when George Lucas built the sets on these things, he got them designed right, and they came in to shoot, and the lighting guys were like, "We can't shoot this because there's no light, George. There's no light." So those famous kind of windows that you see in the rooms that sort of have these stripes of light coming in, these panels, they're built into this as well. So you can see in the corridor these little blue, I don't know if they're a sticker or how they work, or if they're brick built, but that just gives such an iconic Star Wars look and feel to these rooms. It just looks so good. That window where the Emperor's throne is. I remember back in the early 2000s, I got this tiny little Lego set. It was like a $15 set, and it was Emperor Palpatine's throne room.
Yep.
And it came with Emperor Palpatine minifigure in the throne, a Darth Vader figure, and a Luke Skywalker figure. They could battle, and he had his little swivel chair in front of this tiny little kind of window. That was just a really small build. This takes that and just elevates it into an actual.
That's what they started
scene.
with. They said, here's a little $15 set. Now
Yeah.
build everything else to scale around
Build
it.
it around. So that's fantastic. What a great set. I think they've done it really well.
Yeah, like, it comes out soon. It's October 2025 release. So
Yeah.
it'll be available, and, it'll be causing dramas in family homes just in time for Christmas, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's right.
Still on Lego, and this one excited me as well. There was just a teaser at this point, but Lego have gone to the other side of the galaxy and now have the Star Trek license. There's a quick little reel. It basically has an animated Jean-Luc Picard minifigure sort of transporting in. It's got something written in Klingon. I'm not that much of a nerd. I don't speak Klingon. But basically, Star Trek from Lego coming soon, which is going to be very, very interesting. We've just seen the scale and the price of the Death Star. If they do the Enterprise, the NCC 1701D, like the Picard's version of the ship, I'm in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
The old school stuff, I can take or leave, but that next gen, that was my sci-fi growing up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Oh,
going to be interesting.
I can picture a Deep Space Nine
Oh
in Lego
my
form
god!
with a Defiant hanging on the side of it. That would be absolutely
Like the
amazing.
Klingon, is it the Warbird?
Yeah, the
there's some
Warbirds.
iconic ships.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, the Romulan ship as well. Like, oh wow.
A Borg cube.
Yeah,
With lighter features.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's not something I would have had on my bingo list.
Yeah.
And I think that's great, like
Yep.
to see something like this. And I remember seeing that little animated clip you saw promoting it, and you see something warpy, and it's really small when it
Yep.
sort of pans down. It's a little minifig Jean-Luc Picard
Little
size.
minifig
So
Picard.
great to be surprised. I think it's
Yeah,
fantastic.
we'll see what that looks like. Stand by. All right, one thing we have seen, Hasbro did another of their live stream things. I think it's the first one post San Diego. But we saw there was a bunch of stuff, a lot of which we've seen at San Diego Comic-Con already, but there was some new reveals. They revealed the comic wave. So these are the figures that come with the little mini in-scale comic books that the figures can actually sort of read, and typically it's a book that is related to the character in the packaging. And one of those we get to see that hadn't been shown before is Daredevil in his black suit. Basically, he's got the black bandana on and black everything, basically, from the early, I guess it's part of his origin story, really? Or is this taken from the Netflix series?
I don't know what the representation of this is.
There was a comic run of this before.
There might have been like maybe like a Daredevil Year 1 or something like that, where he's
Yeah.
first out on his. Yeah, it's possible.
Yep. What I did love is in all the shots where they've got these figures all reading their own little comic book, the photographers were very clear to make sure that the Daredevil figure was not looking at the comic
Yeah.
book, but he had his hand on it, so
Braille style. Yeah.
indicating he was reading it like a blind person would. So I thought that was a nice little touch. We get a look at Beast from Astonishing X-Men.
Yes, Astonishing X-Men.
Yeah. So this is where he's got the yellow sort of giant X sort of comes up, but it's almost like he's too big for it, and he's just bursting out the top. Very feline features on the blue, a bright blue. I think this is another one of those ones that hasn't been seen since
Toy Biz days. Yeah, they did
or very early Hasbro maybe did him in like.
I remember
20
seeing this figure in a Toys R Us.
Yep.
Walking around very early on, based on I think it was an animated series that used this version.
Oh, okay.
And they turned him into a figure, I think, based on the cartoon.
Yeah. So nice to get him. So those two are part of the wave. We saw most of this wave revealed at San Diego, but a couple of little interesting repacks. We saw Feral, Phoenix with Rachel Summers, but we also get redos of the Silver Surfer. So this is the really chromy Silver Surfer that was some kind of exclusive a few years back. He was like a Walgreens or one of them.
Oh, yes. Yep.
And same with Black Widow. This is Black Widow in her grey sort of jumpsuit look with the short red hair. And she was another, single packed, like exclusive that was hard to get. She had a few more accessories in that, but, they've sort of dialed that back for this one. She comes with a little comic book and all the different, stingers and effects. So that's a pretty cool way. I think that's available now as we record this one. You can get that from wherever you get your X-Men. But speaking of X-Men, We got another look at a new Secret Wars figure. So this is coming on the very retro style packaging. Comes with the little lenticular shield, I guess it is.
Yep, the hero shield.
Yeah, and we get Iceman in all his translucent plastic glory. Coming with a couple of heads that I'm kind of struggling to pick the difference in.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the nature of the white translucent plastic, I feel.
Slight grimace.
Yeah, maybe. But
He comes with a snowball. Does he come with like a little? Is he up there?
He does
Like
too.
little snowball we can throw at people.
Nice. He's got the little ice shield effect, which we've seen in a few figures before. But I do love that he's got looks like the blasting effect,
Yeah.
but he can blast like he's blasting down to create the ice slide as he's going. I'm like, you see it, and there's not even any shots of it in use. But I'm like, I know exactly what that is, and
You can
how
see
to
where it's
use
going to
it.
clip onto his wrist.
Yeah, exactly. Really, really cool. And then we get this is a 2-pack of Gladiator and Deathbird. Gladiator we've seen before. This one's got a retooled head. I think he even comes with an alternate head. And Deathbird is this crazy, dare I say, Power Ranger-esque looking villain, just in terms of her get-up. Scotty, do you know anything about her as a character?
X-Men related. Shi'ar Empire is my
Shi'ar.
Understanding
Yes,
there.
yep.
So she's got a rich history with the X-Men. Professor X in particular. I'm not sure if she was like a royal member of the royal family for the Shi'ar, or if she was like a warrior amongst them. I haven't read a lot of X-Men to understand, but definitely recognise the character, and damn, they've knocked it out the park with that representation. She looks
A
amazing.
lot of expression on the face, that wicked sort of grin,
Yeah.
that smiling maniacal.
And got this huge, almost oversized Wolverine-esque hair, but with the Hela type crown that sits in front of it. Just really makes it pop. Even if you know nothing about the figure, you look at it and go, damn, that looks cool. So they're coming in a 2-pack.
Oh, look at this one. Wow.
This is one that got a few
Whoa.
people's attention. This is part of the
Bag of money as well. I love that. Suitcase of money.
This is the Gamerverse series. It's another 2-pack featuring Punisher and Nick Fury. Now, this is Nick Fury before he was made cool by Sam Jackson. So this is white Nick Fury with the sort of grey hair on the side. Still got the eye patch. This comes from, there was a Punisher video game, I think it was.
Right. Is it like a side scroller?
It's like a side scroller beat 'em up,
Yeah.
Double Dragon-esque type thing, but obviously with guns and stuff because it's Punisher and Nick Fury. So I think on the back there's sort of artwork that sort of shows you what the exact thing is. That sort of background you can see in the shot is like part of the packaging, so that's like from the game. Not super familiar with the game, but I think Sammy Cripps was quite excited by this. Punisher's almost blue
yeah.
instead of black, and I guess from a video game perspective, that's
Yeah.
easier to work with.
I think that's the same with the Capcom vs. Marvel.
Yes,
He's more a lighter blue.
Yep.
than
And
a-
Venom almost
Venom,
comes
yeah,
looking blue
that's
as
right.
well, doesn't
Yep,
he?
yep.
Yeah. And then this one here, this one's for you, Scotty. This was
Good Lord.
was apparently a New York Comic Con exclusive. We're talking about Super Skrull. He comes in as sort of a deluxe packaging, I guess. He's got 2 alternate heads, so 3 in total. A giant flaming fist, obviously all the interchangeable hands to represent all the powers. But is going to be available on Hasbro Pulse at a later date. So New York Comic Con hasn't happened for this year, has it?
Not yet. No,
Not
no.
yet. So yeah, this will be available at New York Comic Con, but hopefully there are still ways for us to get our hands on him.
So Super Skrull is taking on the powers of the Fantastic Four here. Is that he's got a bit of flame on? He's got a bit of clobber and time thing happening. He's got a stretchy arm. Is that does he take on other powers, or is this something special to the Fantastic Four?
He is a almost exclusive and unique Fantastic Four villain, and was created with the purpose of taking on the
Right.
Fab Four. So
Yeah.
traditionally, when you see him, he's going to have that Skrull head,
Yep.
but he's going to have some sort of Fantastic Four power. He essentially has their powers and can use and manipulate his body in any way, shape, or form to utilize them. So here he's got a Thing fist on one side. He's got Johnny Storm's legs, and we've got a bit of a flame effect there as well. But I've seen versions at home. The Build-A-Fig version of the Skrull I got a few years back had stretchy arms for sort of Reed Richards action. He had a translucent arm for Invisible Woman's sort of action as well. So He's a pretty menacing guy. He could, cause some serious trouble for the Fab Four along the way, and very iconic as a villain.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
So you've already got, as you said, the Build-A-Figure one. Is this the sort of thing that interests you as even from an army building type thing, or you go, do you know what? I'm happy with the representation I've got.
Can't have too many Super Scrolls, mate.
Yeah.
I would. I'd actually buy that and probably leave it in its packaging. I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very nice, sort of deluxe window, almost sort of a bit retro looking packaging on that one.
Oh,
Whoa!
all right. I saw this today, so
I
I
have
just
not seen this at all.
Yep.
This is wild.
hot off the press. Again, back to your point, Scotty, at the start of the run sheet, Super 7 coming out with their Godzilla. They did tease today a hawk from their Silverhawks Ultimates line, and it is of course Flashback. So Flashback got a figure in the original line. He was more of the later wave sort of figure. He's the green Silverhawk with the wings and the kind of like the full, not the full face covering, but he's sort of got like a Batman style with his lips exposed, and his left arm is totally exposed. So he'll be cool to see. I'm interested in which version we're going to get. So we know Super 7 are doing both the chrome, the super shiny chrome versions, as well as the matte cartoon style versions.
Yep.
Now, typically we get the matte style. So like Copper Kid as an example, we've only got one. We got the matte style, and then they generally do a kind of chromy vac metal version. I'd be interested to see with Flashback what we get. There he is in the cartoon. He's more of an olive green, I guess you call it. Army green. Yeah, that's a good call. And in the Kenner toy line, he was that emerald green, really, really bright and
Absolutely
shiny.
amazing figure.
Yeah.
You only picked him up not that long ago. I remember
The last Toy Fair.
Yeah.
I did.
Yep.
Yeah.
What a great looking figure.
Oh, so crisp. It was so good.
And look at the improvement on the Hawk. The Kenner Hawk is very stylized. I mean, looks sort of more like a symbol.
Looks like a fancy shield.
Yeah,
like.
yeah, it does. Yeah, whereas obviously they're harkening back to the imagery from the cartoon in the Hawk. He looks great. I don't know.
I mean,
can't remember the name.
that looks pretty, and I get that it's a render, but it looks pretty shiny in that one. Do you know what I mean?
Doesn't
Like
it?
it doesn't
Yeah.
look super matte. Like that looks like shiny paint on the bird there. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if I've got one choice, I want the vac metal versions because I mean, I remember being like, when they came out, there was a lot of uproar,
of
right?
course.
People going, why not do the vac metal? Brian came out and said, look, it's hard. This super articulated. This stuff cracks off. It's going to be difficult. And I remember going, you know what? I'm okay with the matte. I think they look fine. They represent the cartoon. But tell you what, when I saw those
4 waves later,
oh my goodness! And they had the printed little logo, like the Kenner. It just gave me Kenner flashbacks. And so now I'm a convert. I love the shiny vac metal stuff.
he was, correct me if I'm wrong, his time traveling was his power. Like hence the name.
Flashback. Yeah,
it's
makes a whole lot of sense.
Flashback and
Times.
like the Hawk's name is like Flashback and Backflash or something. Like it's a
Backlash?
It's a backlash or something
know.
like that. Yeah, I thought
remember.
I thought time travel was his thing from memory, but that's me trying to remember a cartoon from 20 something years ago. Probably more.
I'm just happy to see more Silverhawks from Super 7. They'd gone quiet for a while, and I'd kind of figured maybe it had gone on the chopping block with the changes they'd had in-house, but this is very encouraging that we're going to get more love in Silverhawks.
Ah, definitely. Yeah. And I hope it's a wave. I hope it's not just the single figure. I hope we get a couple. There's a few that I'd love from the cartoon. There's obviously still a few figures they haven't done from the toy line.
Done about
they've got
70%,
most.
I reckon.
Yeah, they've got most. I want a time stopper. I love that time stopper. There's a guy. He's a unique villain.
Robot tuxedo wearing.
No, he's not that guy. He looks like a punk kid. Like he's sort of got spiky orange hair and he's a kid, but he's got like a digital clock on his chest and he can stop time. So he comes in, stops time, and they all, steal the bank vault and get away. It's so I just love the fact he's got a digital clock on his chest. It's so good.
I mean,
so 80s.
Digital clocks were the height of technology
Correct.
in the 80s, right?
Yeah,
Like-
so any futuristic criminal would have one emblazoned on his chest. I think that's fantastic.
Beautiful. All right, well, that brings us to the end of the news. Just a little shout out, as we mentioned, Ben being the Toy Power representative for Radical Rewind with True Lies. So we'll get a bit of a debrief from him as to how the night was. Great movie. I would have loved to have seen it. Just couldn't make this one, unfortunately. But as is always the case at Radical Rewind, they reveal the next movie coming in a month's time. And this is one that, you know what? If you didn't have this on your bingo list, then you don't know Davey very well.
It was always going to happen. Selma Hayek, right? In this movie. I think one of Davey's favourite cinematic moments.
Correct. We're talking about From Dusk Till Dawn with old mate George Clooney.
Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino, and of course the amazing Salma Hayek. It's one of those movies that I don't know if it's the first, but it's the one for me that just really popularized the thing of here's a movie, you think it's going, and then halfway through twist, and it just tonal shift, everything shift. You're like, okay, it's now this sort of movie. Yeah. How did we get here? Like, I'm sure there's probably other movies that have done something before this, but this is the one that when you go, oh, this movie has a twist halfway through. So, From Dusk Till Dawn. Like
it is
Dusk. Sorry.
It is so unique in that way. I'm not sure if other films. I can't think of other films that have done it as successfully as this one, because it changes from almost crime, heist, suspense style. That very Tarantino kind of build the tension, these sort of crazy criminals going on this road trip.
Yep.
To then like the zaniest kind of zombie twist on it. And it just dives into it, right? And you're just like, what am I doing in this? Am I in the same film? What has happened? Yeah. But to pull it off and to be, like we talk about the twist, you go Sixth Sense, that did the twist really well. You go the tonal shift, it's Dusk to Dawn, right? It's fantastic. It's mastery. And Quentin Tarantino is in this, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's the brother. He's George Clooney's kind of like psychotic brother.
Yep.
The twist comes at such an unassuming part of the movie as well. Like they've got into the bar and you're completely hypnotized by the scene happening on the screen in front of you. Like you're just mesmerized by Salma Hayek, and then like 60 seconds later, bang! What the hell am I watching? Where did this come from?
I love. There's a scene that always sticks in my head because you've got the band playing. Like there's a guy on guitar, and when it cuts back to them after everything's changed, he's like playing a body. It's just like the guitar is just like a dismembered body. Like it's just so the art direction. They just had so much fun with that.
You
right?
can tell, can't you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Very cool. So that is coming up. Have we got the date there?
It's usually in a month.
3rd of October.
3rd of October. 3rd of October. So get your tickets for that one.
Beautiful. All right. We're going to change pace now, and we put out the call. The bat signal went up. The Toy Power signal went up. We wanted some Patreon questions, and boy, did our patrons deliver with some crackers here.
Gave them very little notice.
Correct.
They've absolutely floored us. Look, to be straight up, we're not going to get through all of these. We're overwhelmed by the response as usual. And without Ben tonight, there's some where we sit there and go, do you know what? I reckon Ben would have a good story for this one. Well, we might hold off till we next catch up with him. So, apologies to our Patreon. Please don't be offended if we don't read your question out. We'll sort of pick the ones we can tackle tonight and then go for round 2.
Yeah. Let's give it. We've probably got a good kind of 20, 25 minutes. Let's see where we get to, and we'll come back to them, right?
Yep.
Now, Morgatron84 asks, and this is really topical, right, with what we've just talked about tonight, what property does Blockies need to tackle next? Scotty, do you have one in mind?
I've had this on my mind for quite a while. Watching you guys having so much fun with Blockies, I've avoided the Transformers. I don't want to do it. What I really, really hope they jump on board and do is Robotech.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that would be so good.
I would love to see all the Veritech fighters done, and whether it be in plane mode, robot mode, like Sentinel mode, or sort of that part flight mode where the legs are hanging underneath. There's 3 versions of every Veritech you could do from that first story.
That's a cracker. Yeah, that's a good one. And you could probably also do the characters, like the human characters.
Yeah.
And Zentradi.
Yeah.
And then you got scale difference, but it doesn't
really
matter. Doesn't
You
matter.
know, you're
Get 'em
talking
in.
about a line where you've got Metroplex the same scale
Yeah.
as Bumblebee, like, but they're still cool characters, right? Like,
I reckon you're onto something.
yeah,
I reckon we
I
might
hope
see
they're
that.
listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, an SDF-1 as a
Oh,
blocky,
man.
like one of those large-scale ones. And then you got the second season with the Southern Cross and their tanks. You go to the third series where you've got the Cyclone Cycles
Yes.
and the Invid Bioroids. Untapped property and so much you could
And
produce.
perfect for the blockies aesthetic.
Yep.
Oh, good call.
Yeah,
Frank,
great
you
one.
got any ideas?
I think I mentioned this a while back, and Ben was like, no, the human figures won't look any good. Masters is the one that jumps out to me. Like, you talk about parts reuse, right?
Yeah.
Once they work out how to do that classic muscle arm of a He-Man figure, you can pump that out for all the other figures. You got your straight repaints in your fakers and that sort of stuff. And then, for your, I guess, larger scale ones, give me a Battle Cat at that sort of scale that can, you pop your He-Man figure on top of it. As Mattel are currently doing, you could have a 2000X style sort of line later on down the waves, assuming it does well. Even and again, scale issues aside, even a little mini Grayskull that you put together at that scale, would just be pretty nuts.
That would be an interesting. Look, I reckon blockies would. I reckon they've probably been trying to get that one. That the challenge there is you're going up against Mattel in a potential movie year, and that may be a challenge. They might, and at the price point, they might be a bit scared to kind of license that out.
Haven't Masters also been done in not blockies? It's the
You Mega Construct.
Yeah, but they run a bit smaller. They're
Correct.
like sort of Lego.
Yeah,
scale.
they sort of did them in that. They were doing a whole heap there for a while, like
Yes.
little figure packs and 5-packs and all sorts. That is a Mattel owned brand, so. But that is a cracker, and I think they definitely want to do that. Look, I thought again another big kind of 80s 90s toy property. I think Ninja Turtles would go pretty well. It's kind of got that the fact Playmates has the license or has had the license for a long time, being sort of Japanese background,
origin,
might tend to be in their line of sight. So I think it would be pretty cool. Gives them a great roster of characters, lots of different versions that they could do. So wait and see. Let's see who gets it right.
Would there be a version of the Ninja Turtles that you'd want more than something else?
I think it'd be like what they've done with Transformers. They could just go all over the place. You get your standard turtles, and then guess what? Paint them black and white. Give them different face paints.
Mirage
give them
style?
different Mirage
I'd
style
love
ones.
Mirage, yeah.
Right? I think they would go really hard. You could do movie based stuff. Like, I just think there's same with Transformers. There's so many different versions of it you could go.
Yeah.
That it's sky's the limit. Basically.
Oh, Michael Bay version.
Oh,
of the
wow,
Turtles in
yeah.
hockey
Hey,
form.
there are some limits,
yeah.
all right? No, thank you.
They can't all be home runs, can they?
True. All right. Boomhauer has said, what's been the weirdest place you've ever found a toy / collectible that is now part of your collection?
Yeah, it's a great question. I was racking my brain to work this one out, and typically, I've probably been to a few trash and treasure markets in my time, and particularly in the probably what I'd call the 2000s, in that sort of era, and probably even more in that 90s. I was doing a little bit in the 90s, but I'd go to the locations that I knew I was sort of getting toys, but occasionally go to these sort of broader markets. There was one at Jepp's Cross.
Yep.
Yes.
And this is, in that era, you would just find things dirt cheap. Like, so I'd go out there, I'd go with Darren, and we'd go, today I'm looking for Ninja Turtles, or today I'm looking for Masters, and you go around. And I remember one day at one of these, again, you don't know what, there's fruit and vegetables there, right? Like there's just CDs, there's DVDs, there's crockery, there's pots and all sort of stuff. And then you'll come across some guy with some old toys, you sift through. I reckon I came away with like 4 foot soldiers for like $2 each. It was just that sort of like, $2 for a foot soldier. And Darren that day, I remember that he picked up like a Crystal Castle. Here's a Crystal Castle. It's got all the bits and pieces and so forth. That's probably, those foot soldiers are probably that I've still got. I've still got this massive foot soldier collection from that day, and dirt cheap.
Nice.
Okay. For me, a couple of years back, we did a trip to Europe. And I wanted to go to Switzerland. We sort of each picked a country that we want to go and have a look at, and I chose Switzerland. And I wanted to go to the Alps. Like, I'd heard the Alps were amazing, so I figured let's go and do that. And we ended up choosing a location called Schilthorn, which is where they filmed the climax of the James Bond movie On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So James Bond, that sort of connective tissue, bang, I had to go and do it. I braved, it was the middle of winter in Europe as well, by the way, so freezing cold, ice, snow, winds, lovely. For an Australian, that's amazing. We love that sort of stuff because it's such a novelty.
Yeah.
Cable carts up and across, up to the top of the hill. Found out only recently that the cable cart trip from Moran up to Schilthorn is the steepest climb in the world.
Oh, right.
wow.
Okay.
And I'm afraid of heights. I'll be the first person to stand up and say I don't like it. But damn it, I grinned and bared it, and I did that trip up there because I wanted to go up to the top of the mountain. So it's a James Bond experience. Finally get to the point where it's toy related. They had a museum of James Bond stuff up there. They had a shop of James Bond stuff up there. I purchased the Lotus, the James Bond Lotus Matchbox car.
Beautiful.
While I was up there as my memento to
Nice.
sort of say I'd been here and I'd done that. And then we had lunch up there. We had the James Bond burger and the James Bond coffee and
Dry martini.
yeah,
shaken,
dry
not stirred.
martini. I even went outside on the outside deck in the storm.
Yeah.
I was wearing my Toy Power T-shirt. So I stripped down to just wearing the T-shirt standing outside, had a quick photo and came back in. I'll have to find that photo. 'cause it's
Beautiful.
Probably one of the dumbest things I've done. To go outside,
And then
minus
had
10
pneumonia for the
degrees
next part of the trip. That's great.
I don't know. It's not really a weird place, but it was sort of like out of context of everything else. So a good buddy of mine had his was his 30th birthday back then, and big party at their place, and all the friends were there, and great, and they live all the way down south, so it was a bit of a drive for me. So I was always going to stay the night after a few sherries, and and then the next day I was packing up all my stuff, and my mate just hands me this box, and I'm like, "What's this?" And he goes, "We talked about this last night," and I was like, I had a few drinks. Remind me what we talked about, and it was just his old He-Man collection to the point where, and a lot of it was broken and but there is a Sorceress that is just in the mintest condition, had the staff and everything, and I'm just like, and he saw my face, and his wife saw my face, and I'm like, do you want me to tell you how much this is worth? And he said no, and she's like, yes. And he's like, just take it.
Yeah.
We had a good night ago, and so it was just that thing where I was like. I came home with his box just totally not expecting that. Expecting to have a good night and whatever. And I'm just like, this is great. I did not expect to come home. I expected to come home with a hangover, sure. But I did not expect to come home with some new masters for the collection that I still have.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Cool. All right. Chris Fresh asks, what is the worst toy gift you have received that you didn't have the heart to tell the person you didn't like it? It's really interesting. Like nowadays, unless it's kind of like you guys and we're doing a Secret Santa or something like that, no one will even try to buy me toys. Like they just don't. Leanne doesn't try. No, my parents don't try. But there was a time when they did try, and like Mum was like, Trent loves toys. Let's get him something. Let's get for his 25th birthday. Let's get him a Transformers. And I do remember getting like a Michael Bay car. It's like a really nice car. It was in car mode in the blister. Can't even remember which one it was, but it's just like I don't collect. Like this is not what I collect.
Not what I do.
You've tried. I can see you've tried, but this is not something I really want in my collection. And I held on to it because it was a gift from Mum, and it's one of the rare things she would have got me. But I think eventually I've sort of moved it on because it's such a weird thing to have a Michael Bay figure on card in your collection when you have no Michael Bay Transformers and no interest. But I do have to tell a really funny story. This is a childhood story. We've got Mum and Dad have their some really close family friends, and if say you go to the shops, right, and you get excited when you find a bargain. So you might go to the shops, you might find there's example happening right now. Power Girl, really hard to get in McFarlane, going for big dollars, has shown up in just some random store in the US for $10. And so you just go, I'm going to buy 10, right? Because people want $60. I'm going to buy 10. It's great value, and and I'm excited. I'm going to tell everyone. Well, family friends of my parents went into a store and for, I think it was 99 cents, you could get the Family Ties board game.
Oh, wow.
Family Ties board game, right? And I reckon it was one of these moments where, the dad's gone into this store and he's gone, 99 cents.
Be losing money.
I'm buying them all. I'm buying them all.
Wait,
I'm buying
multiple
all,
copies
I'm
of the
buying
same-
20, right? Wow. And it's one of these things that you just like, look, you just can't contain your excitement at the bargain you've got. So you go, look at what I got for 99 cents. Can you believe it, right? Fast forward 6 months till Christmas time.
Uh-oh.
And we're there opening up the presents. What do we unwrap? Family Ties, the board game.
Damn.
Now, there's a twist to there's a twist to this story because it was sort of like, what is this? Like, I mean, yes, I've seen Family Ties. Yes, I know Michael J. Fox. How can you turn that into a board game? First of all, it was actually really fun. There was like, I remember one night I had a friend over. This is like year 4, so it would have been like 10, 11. I had a friend over. And we played the Family Ties board game into the night. Like, this is 3 a.m. The one thing, I mean, you just moved around the board, right? You got collected things and what have you. But you didn't want to get Skippy. Like, he was what he must have been the character that like was just annoying,
Yes.
So that the aim of the game was like Skippy would come and you'd be like, I've got Skippy, I got to get rid of him. And that's how you played the Family Ties board game.
Wow.
So weird.
Imagine being given the 10 Yothers token to play the game. That's just wow. How?
They just repackaged the same thing. It was a different show, and you avoided the Steve Urkel.
Could have been.
token.
Could have been the same thing. Yep.
Wowzers.
Okay, so I'm going to say 2 things here. In hindsight, with age and understanding, I don't think there is a worse toy that someone can give you. I mean, I look back at what I've received, and in the past, it's like, this is garbage. I'm going to put it on the toy. I'm going to put it on my table at Toy Fair. That's that sort of thing. But now, with the benefit of hindsight, I look at the effort and the energy that someone put into get something for me. They've actually stopped and thought, he likes toys. Yep. Let me get him a toy. Now, they've either gone online and had a look and found something and ordered in they thought I would like, or even better, they actually got up and went to a shop and walked around and took the time to find something. And to me, it doesn't matter if I like it or not. It's just the damn effort that someone went to think of me and go and purchase it, wrap it up, and then they hand it over. And they think they're doing something really awesome. It's your job in that scenario as a receiver of the toy, as a gift, is to put your hands up, put your thumbs up and say, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you thinking and putting the time and effort into it. But the correct answer is GoBots for my birthday from my parents back in 1984. And then telling all my aunts and uncles that I like GoBots and they need to buy them for me as well.
Yeah.
That is the best long-form joke I've heard in a long time.
Here you go. Actually, just a little stinger to the Family Ties story. There it is. There is the board game. You look at that beautiful cover. Going for $174 today. It's a rare find. This Family Ties board game.
Return on 99 cents.
He was onto something.
It's better than Bitcoin.
Look at it. It's a smashing price.
Do you still have it?
No. I mean, it would have stayed with my parents. Like, I wouldn't have moved out and taken it. So, yeah, there you go.
Does it have the kid they added into, I think, season 4 or 5 in order to bump ratings? Like, they had another kid along the line.
That little kid
yeah,
at the
little
bottom?
snot-nosed kid that they add in. Yeah,
He's
that
there.
one like
He's there.
Oh, wow. Well, I can't compete with Scotty's wonderful answer there. For me, it's the... and Dave, you can appreciate this. It's those damn McDonald's Ninja Turtles toys that I think are part of the 2003 sort of run.
Yep.
And, same thing. It wasn't my parents or my wife or whatever who have long since given up trying to buy me toys. It was like an uncle or someone we don't see that. Oh, he likes Ninja. And I'm like, yeah, I'll put this on the pile with the other ones that, or to your point, they're in the free tub at Toy Fair,
Yeah.
you know, just to get rid of them because they just keep showing up.
They were made in, I mean, obviously McDonald's toys are made in mass quantities, but
Yep.
those show up everywhere. And they're sort of like, when you see them, you're like, oh, and then you kind of like realize.
Oh, I know exactly what that is.
I know what you
yeah,
are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they show up in toy lots, you know, Turtles lots online all the time. Now, this one is a question that our good friend Ben, aka Shredder 1982, has actually put in. I don't know that we can accept this because he's not actually a Patreon, but we'll try it anyway. I actually really like this question. I just haven't thought of a good answer. If your love life was compared to a toy line, how would it be best described? He's given some examples here, which gives us a bit of thinking music. But Transformers. It started strong. It's still going, kind of, and it's always changing, always evolving. Can a Star Wars absolutely legendary?
Yeah.
It's one way to describe a love life. Ninja Turtles discovered young, and you're still adored as an adult. Interesting.
Wow, that's dark.
Arco. He's gone Arco the Other World. I don't know. Forgotten and mostly unappreciated. All right.
Judging by our reactions, we've all forgotten about it.
Yeah, Arco. Yeah. It's well, I had. Yeah, I this is going to be. It's probably not going to land the right way, but I selected the. This is maybe interpreted the wrong way. I selected the Highlander toy line, and I said there can be only one because that is my. Leanne and I have been dating since we're 15, so I've only ever had really the one partner or one romantic partner. So that's really sums it up. But equally, I think like this. I did sort of TMNT discovered young and still adored as an adult. I did like that sort of sentiment. But I wasn't allowed. He explicitly said, "Don't use these. These are examples." So Highlander, also probably forgotten and mostly unappreciated. Did you even know there was a Highlander toy line? It's not actually from. Interestingly, it's not from the movies. It's from an animated series.
There was an animated series?
There was an animated
Connor
series.
McLeod?
I believe so.
Duncan
yeah.
McLeod?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
You can get...
Is it a cartoon where they run around chopping heads off? Is that?
I don't think so. There's a Quentin action figure with sword/action.
With the you know who's doing the new one? There's a Highlander reboot coming. Henry Cavill.
Yes.
And apparently it's been now pushed back into 2026 because he hurt himself on set doing, whatever the action scene was, and so he's off the movie. They've had to shut down production for
there
for
you
a
go.
little while.
I didn't know that. I did look. I did enjoy. I do like the Highlander. I particularly like the first one. I think the first one's pretty good. Yeah.
I want a Ramirez toy. I want a Sean Connery in
Yeah.
pompous red flowery outfit. I think that'd be amazing.
I think it would be. Yeah.
What about Sky Shield from the second movie? Can we get that in toy form?
I'd love a Sky Shield. Didn't land. Did it?
No, it didn't. What about the third one? No, let's not go there.
No. If I had to go, I've been thinking about this and I've only just sort of come to an answer. I would describe mine as Lego, where, it's going well. You're building this. Oh, no, not going well. Smash it down.
Right.
Bang.
Oh, it's
back
like
to,
an
back to
episode of
basics.
Lego Masters.
And then, all right, I slowly build it. Oh, no, smashed again. No, I'm not going to touch Lego for a little bit. I'm just gonna enjoy me. And then now we've got this wonderful castle that Ali and I have built
You've got
together.
a Death Star worth $1,500 with all the rooms,
All the things.
It's got all the good stuff. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So you guys build Lego together? Is that?
Yeah. I mean, I hadn't thought of it from that angle, but yeah, we literally do. I've seen some things where what we do is basically we say, right, one of us has the instructions and the other one has the thing. So the idea is to basically describe, all right, you're getting a 2x3 stud and you're putting it on the left hand
nice.
side.
Right.
Can lead to some tension. I'm not going to lie because what do you mean the left? Your left or my left?
Yeah,
that sort of
yeah.
thing. And we don't take it as strictly as no, you're not allowed to see the instructions. If it's easy to just sort of go, hey, this is what it is. But it's a way to just like, rather than, because building Lego just straight off the instructions can be a bit of a solo thing, really. But it's a way to just, we don't watch TV. We build Lego instead.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that. That's cool.
Hmm.
No one's allowed to touch my Lego. It's out of bounds for Joe. But hands off my Lego.
Yeah. Well, these days the newer sets have like the app on your iPad or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
and so I actually kind of don't get me wrong. I love a good instruction book, but the advantage the iPad does is you can literally rotate it because it's all rendered in 3D.
course. Yeah.
And there's some things where it's just the nature of the model. It's hard to see where to put it.
Yes.
Like the Batmobile, it's black on black on black. But so you can rotate and you can zoom in. This is exactly where the brick has to go, or this is the orientation of it, sort of thing. So yeah.
Are you kidding?
No, that's right. Any modern Lego set, you will find you go on the Lego app.
Yeah, I've
and
never done it. So.
Yeah.
The amount of times I have put together technical Lego and I've picked up the wrong cog or slid it to the wrong location, and you've finished your build and it's all good, and you go to do that action feature and
Yep.
it either grinds or the cogs don't line up and nothing happens, and then you're like, cool, now I've got to destroy this bastard of a thing and rebuild it from scratch.
Yep.
Maybe that takes the fun out of it. Or I don't know.
What do you mean? Like
The fun,
it takes
the fun of destroying
the
it?
confusion.
The confusion of
takes the frustration out of it.
what color of grey?
Yeah.
Which grayscale piece
Light.
of grey on my Star Destroyer is this meant to be?
True.
Well, I guess my answer is I said Masters of the Universe, and I'm more of looking.
You
at
died out in the 80s?
All right, we can move.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
I couldn't resist.
That's it. I'm out. All right.
Headphones
He's
are off.
gone.
You know what, Frank? You're not far from the truth, to be honest. We exploded out of nowhere in the 80s. It was red hot for 7 waves of burning hot, amazing action figures with all sorts of crazy things going on.
Oh, my
Action
goodness.
features left, right, and centre.
Scotty
They
too
were-
hotty.
And then it just fizzled out. And it went dark.
Tried to go to space. Didn't work.
It didn't work.
But now it's a movie year.
Yeah, it's a movie year.
And then we come back in toy form a little bit later. Whoa, this is pretty exciting. The 2000s are pretty cool. I like this. And that goes away again. And then it comes back in classics form. But we're heating up again. Well, look at all this kind of stuff. What I'm basically saying is live is it's waves. It's not always
Love
awesome.
waves, yeah.
It
I
comes
like
and
that.
goes.
Comes
It's
and
up
goes.
and down.
Peaks
It's
and
good.
troughs,
It's bad. And that's what Masters of the Universe has always
Yeah,
been.
that's
It's
true.
like,
That's true.
hey man, this is cool. No, this is terrible.
right.
It's an up year at the moment because Origins are pretty cool. So
Origins are
that's
doing
where
well,
the radar is at.
Good. All right. I think we need Ben to have pick one
Oh,
when
yeah.
he comes
Can't
back.
throw a question like that and not have a good answer himself. So, oh,
All right. Let's do have now. If you could keep... Oh, this is a really good one. If you could keep only one decade of toys, which would it be? What retro toy line do you still feel is good value? And what toy line do you feel is overvalued and you would consider selling to fund other purchases? I'll go. Look, this is... I mean, actually, I saw this, and I go, what's easy? 1980.
correct.
It's easy,
Yeah.
right? But then I thought, well, you know what? Turtles. A lot of the Turtles came out in the 90s. So, and there's Batman the Animated Series. There's a lot of good Batman figures
Yeah,
that came out in the
90s, yeah.
early 90s. I mean, we get like Total Justice as we go on through the 90s, and you get that weird kind of like pre-posed comic book styling, which is a bit odd. So I sort of went, it's obviously the 80s. But then I thought, well, what about even 2025? Or what about even like, the 2020s? What about even the 2010s and classics?
Yeah.
So I think I could give away the 2000. I think 2000 to 2010, get rid of it.
Correct.
Get rid of it. There's not, there's some good stuff in there.
But there's
it's
more
better.
bad than
There's
there is
more
good.
bad than there's good. And I reckon all the good stuff that's in there, they've remade it and it's better. But from 2010, because you got classics in there, you got a lot of Ninja Turtles, you got the start of Ultimates.
Yep.
It's a really tricky one. But I did go back to 1980 because I think for me, you can't beat the nostalgia of the vintage toys that you played with, that you had. I know it does mean you miss out on some of the Star Wars. It means you get the later stuff. But I'd go the 1980s. Retro toy line that I still think is good value. Look, depends what you're getting. Are you getting it carded? Are you getting it loose? There's a lot of things that I balk at the prices. A lot of the late run Masters stuff I balk at.
Yep.
Even Ninja Turtle stuff I sort of balk at. You know what? For the most part, Star Wars, a Star Wars original, not too bad. I mean, yes, you got your last 17. Yes, you got bits and pieces. But when I went back not that long ago, sort of 3-4 years, and sort of tried to put together that collection, wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
And for something so old, I mean, they made a ton of this stuff. So on the stuff that's not super rare, holds its value. Yeah, carded, boxed, all that stuff. It's probably super stupidly priced, but you know, action figures, not too bad.
Yeah. Yep.
Overpriced. This is a really interesting one. There's a lot of stuff that is overpriced. You know, like I'd say like a scratch figure is overpriced. I'd say, you know, a blank figure is over. Or maybe blank, not
Are
so
you
much.
saying what toy line is overvalued?
So there's bits and pieces that you just sort of look at and you go, you know, I want that, or I'm trying to collect that, and sort of balk at. One that I balk at is Thundercats. And in particular, carded Thundercats are and they've always been stupidly priced. I've always collected Thundercats, so for the longest time. And I've got a pretty complete loose collection, minus things like Stinger, Driller, the Moat Monster, Astral Moat Monster. I don't have the Cat's Lair, and I don't have a lot of the vehicles. But I've got 90% of the figures.
The main characters,
right?
yeah.
I think I need some burbles, but I've got, call it, 80%. I've always looked at carded, because I'm a card collector. So, there's a Lino, I'll get Lino, I'll get Tiger, I'll get Panthro, loose. I want a carded figure now, go online, and it's always been unaffordable. And it's always gone up in my ranking of unaffordability as things go on. So now you want a carded Lino, you're probably talking $2,000, $3,000, something like that for like a minty Lino. Even some of the random characters, like, pick not even a rare one, just like a Vulture Man or like a Tuscador
not
or
a
Tuscarora.
headline character.
Not a headline, like one of those ones that are sort of like no one really wants that much, like that Tusk guy, that Walrus guy. Like even those are like $600-$700. I just think, to me, the value is not there for carded Thundercats. And I've never, and now I say, what toyline do you feel is overvalued? Consider it selling to fund other purchases. Well, I don't have any carded Thundercats, so I can't sell them.
Yeah.
In terms of stuff that I've got, personally, I think Classics was over, and it might have corrected a little bit now with Origins and things, but at its peak, Classics was overvalued.
Yep.
Big time, right? Because you were like, you could get a Scareglow, probably for the almost similar price to a vintage
To a
Scare.
vintage one.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Maybe not quite, but to me, that whole concept of the modern toy commanding $400-$500, and then you're looking at the vintage counterpart.
But is part of that because it's built on the mystique of the original toy?
I think
I mean?
some of it was the production numbers, and then there were some issues with things like Fisto and Scareglow and some of the early run stuff that people caught onto it later, and then they wanted to complete their collection. So I think a lot of that stuff was overvalued. I did, in fact, sell an entire run of Classics because I bought 3. I was buying 3 at the time, one to keep, mint on card, one to open, and one to put away, because it was the same price to ship 3 as it was to ship 1.
Yeah.
So that one, that always weirds me out. And a lot of this, just, stuff that it weirds me out in the same year when, a figure comes out in 2025 and for whatever reason, it's worth $200 on the secondary market. That is a strange concept to me. And that to me is an over... It's a hype. It's people want it. People are prepared to pay it, and it's not a rational thing for a toy that's potentially like 6 months old to have climbed in value that much. So that's probably my take out. Vintage, it deserves to some extent its price, and it's got its market, and it's sort of an equal. I don't like Thundercats prices, but it is what it is.
Yeah, fair. Probably, where do we go? So decade, you're right. I'm not going to venture into that. 80s is where it's at. You could make a case for the 90s as well, just as a Turtles collector specifically. But what retro twine do you still feel is good value? I I'm going to pass on that one for a second.
What do you think of, just interestingly, and I don't think this is the toy line that is good value.
Yeah.
What do you think of Transformers? You're doing a bit of dabbling in
Yes.
completing your G1. How do you feel when, I know you're getting a lot of stuff through Morgatron 84, and I know he's probably doing you not only a solid in terms of the rates, but the quality of what he's giving you
His
is
stuff is
immaculate.
minty. Yeah.
What are your feelings around? I know you're sort of saving up and you're going. How do they compare?
Look, they are expensive.
Yeah.
I think I get sold on one because, as you said, from Morgatron, I know it's going to be mint condition. You know, he's put on repro stickers where applicable, but otherwise it's all original stuff. But there's still this thing, you know, where I paid whatever I paid. I'm not going to get into the values specifically, but like Hound is a good example.
Yep.
I was like, oh, Hound, you know, he's that character you see a lot of in the cartoon and stuff. And the toy is tiny.
Yeah.
And the price you pay, and don't get me wrong, all the accessories are there, minty chrome, all that sort of stuff. And you go, it's just really small. Jazz, another one.
Yeah.
Core character as far as I'm concerned. Super fragile and ridiculously frustrating to actually transform into robot mode and have him not face plant over, get his shoulders in the right spot. And so, look, it's nice to have in my collection because I sit there and go, yep, I can tick that box. But at the same time, I'm just like, why, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, so they're not. You wouldn't consider. I didn't think that was the case that you'd consider Transformers good value. They were expensive toys at the time.
Exactly, yeah.
They got banged up, so good condition ones they should command
Yeah.
the dollar.
So look, absolutely no issue with the price I pay, but I still sort of sit there and go, oh man, that's a couple of Ultimates.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's sort of for some of the bigger items. What toy line do you feel is overvalued? I would probably say Masterpiece for one. For me, is the one that's just its prices have just gone up at 45 degrees sort of thing. Like, you know, when they started, when the new, and I get it, the older ones obviously command more because they, you know, been around for longer and stuff. But when the new, whatever it was, MP 36 or something, and they just, you know, oh, here's the new Beast Wars Megatron. I would have loved to have had, you know, a just the Primal and Megatron to represent Beast Wars. $600 starting point. You're just like, come on, like that's just, it's not sustainable, right?
No.
They just kept going for more accuracy, more complexity, and now they've reached that point where they're, you know, basically rebooting that whole line and going back to, I don't even know what it's called at the moment, but. Yeah, to the second part of that question, I'm very close to, you know, selling them off to fund more things. They're big. Don't get me wrong, they look great, but they take up a lot of shelf space compared to, you know, Blockies or even G1 itself. And yeah, there's a bit of coin there waiting to fund other things that I'm actively collecting.
Nice.
Toy decade. 80s is king, without question.
Yeah.
But I want to put a shout out to the 90s. Power of the Force 2, pretty cool. And Marvel Toy Biz. Like this is where Legends birthed essentially, and you know, those clunky 5-inch Toy Biz figures.
Yeah.
As
Something
crazy
about
as they look, they are just super charming, and I love them. Rutschel toy line, you still feel is good value. Well, I think it's an eye of the beholder. It's if you love it, it's good value. That's really what it comes down
true.
to.
Yeah,
I'm collecting Silverhawks at the moment, and nobody in their right mind would think $250 for a chrome-plated 4-inch toy is good value, but I do because I love it and I want to buy it. I can justify it. That's honestly all it comes down to.
Would
Fair point.
Power of the Force would almost be retro, Power of the Force 2. And they're darn good value because they made so
amazing
many of
value.
those bloody things.
And that's the line. It's, you know, where is it a vintage figure? Is 30 years of age? Is that
Getting
deemed
there, aren't they?
vintage?
I mean, that's
It has to be
mid 90s.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah,
it's crazy to think you can get a $10 Power of the Force figure on card, like $10 Australian. Oh, it's that astounds me.
That I mean, that's amazing value. That if you want to buy it, go for it because you can probably get all those figures pretty easily. Because I've brought all of mine, and I'm sure you've purchased a stack of them as well.
I got a
They're
ton.
definitely still out there. A toy line that is overvalued. You both have covered it. My answer would have been Masters Classics. I didn't get on the train early enough to get a whole heap of it, but I picked them up when the prices weren't too crazy. You could get a He-Man and a Skeletor for $60 Australian, but watching the price of them spiral upwards pretty rapidly sort of extinguished my enthusiasm to purchase the whole line, and I kind of tapped out at the 10 core figures, a Wind Raider and a Battle Cat, and that was enough for me. But I never even opened them. They're still in their mailer boxes.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And they've been on my table at the Toy Fair for the last couple of outings as well. So.
No one's jumped.
Well, it's not one of those cheap things.
Yeah,
like,
it's
go to Toy
hard
Fair.
at Toy Fair to sell them. You get the occasional person that comes up. Like I had a Dialer mug up there, and that's a rare one. That's like a
recent one.
It's recent, but it commands somewhere in the $300-400 for whatever reason. And I had a guy that was like, "Oh, Dialer mug," and he's like, "How low can you go?" And I said, "Look, this is I show you on eBay. This is what he's going for. I can go down to this." And he's like, "No, I can't. No, don't sell it for that. I'm not gonna. If I'm interested, I know you've got it listed on eBay. I'll grab it." He hasn't. But so you get the occasional person. Yeah. But I think, and it's probably right. Origins. I think a lot of people that collected classics have classics. I think most people have it now. There's probably a few people looking, but really, Origins is it's slightly different. It's a bit more nostalgic. It's a bit more vintage. I think that has brought the price down, or at least brought the collectability of the demand down. Yeah. Right, and that I think in turn means that people aren't willing to pay as much.
Well, you think prior to Origins, Classics was the only. If you didn't want vintage, you wanted something that looked cooler than your vintage He-Man you remember as a kid. Classics was your only real option.
Yeah,
and now there's Origins, and now there's Masterverse, and there's all the different. We're about to have a movie next year and stuff.
It's more saturated for sure. All right, let's do one more, and then we better wrap. This is a good one. So we'll go with another one from Boomhauer. What toy line would you like to see have a new rebooted, either animated or maybe live action show or film? Anything you want to see rebooted? I know reboots can be tricky.
I don't know if it's a toy line per se. I believe there was some toys for this, but I'm going to shout out Samurai Pizza Cats.
Oh, yes. Good call.
I would love to see that get whether it's a new show. I believe there's one of those retro games coming. There's a teaser trailer or something for that. But give me, you wouldn't even need to change the animation that much. If you look at the success of K-pop Demon Hunters and these sorts of things, that sort of real animated, where the characters can go from talking with the big animated eyes, that are sort of exploding out of their head and that sort of thing. I think there's a market for that. And do you know what? Keep it dumb and silly and referential. You look at Deadpool and how just poking literal fun at itself and Marvel as a whole. It's a series that pokes fun at the Ninja Turtles. It pokes fun at the Power Rangers concept of the bad guy's just gone 20 times bigger. Guess we better form our Super Megazord Blazing Sword type stuff. It takes a whole lot of elements. I think it's due. I wouldn't give it to a Michael Bay or a Zack Snyder. It doesn't need to be gritty. No. I think as a society we're a bit past that for reboots. Keep it fun. Keep it goofy. Cool. That's my call.
Look, I'm watching Thundercats, the Rankin Bass 80s version of Thundercats, not the 2000s version. It did get a reboot in 2000, didn't last long. Also had toys done by Bandai, I think, mainly for the most part. Look, I was watching it today. I love the Thundercats intro. I think the Thundercats intro is beautiful. The song's great. It's actually it's not so much episodic. The story continues. Certainly, the episodes I'm up to is they crash land, and then they've got to build a thunder tank, and then Mumm-Ra comes, and the mutants team up with Mumm-Ra, and they build their castle Plunder, and Thundercats with the Burbles are building their cats. It actually flows on. So things that happened in the last episode continue on, and it's it's still a kids show, but it's quite interesting. And so I don't know if Thundercats would make a great live action film. It might be a little bit weird seeing, Vin Diesel dressed up as Panthro. That might just, what was that Cats musical they did back then? And it just
James Corden. Yes.
But I think it would make a great cartoon reboot, and maybe it's ready. The funny.
You ever watched the rebooted cartoon?
I have, yeah. And look, I didn't mind it. I
Yeah.
found it a bit weird, I guess. Like, let's say dull, but maybe it deviated too much from my thoughts.
There's
of
been some
Thundercats.
articles come out recently, like from the writers or directors, about the plans they had for season 2, and
Yeah.
it was taking, things you just like, oh, I wouldn't have expected that, like in
Right.
terms of like a romance between two characters sort of
Okay,
thing.
yep.
And there's some really cool. It made me sort of sit there and go, oh man, like there's just, and I know it wasn't a perfect show. I for me, the toys let it down more so than
Yeah.
the show did. I thought the writing
Yeah.
on the show was pretty decent for the time, because you sort of thought it was 2010, 2011.
It was around then,
I think it
yeah.
was.
Yeah, that's my memory. It was interesting. Then there were a few episodes that were just really weird.
There's a few filler episodes.
Yeah,
for sure,
like they had this. I still remember this one where I think the Thundercats are kind of like, I don't know if they're on a journey or they're traveling somewhere, and they encounter this like microscopic, but this small race of like weird creatures, and they age like in a day, like they have their whole life cycle in a day. And this little kid at the start of the episode is like the old man dying at the end, and I just like, this is really deep and like emotional for this sort of cartoon. And then, like I found some of the episodes didn't hit quite right. But I thought the writing, like you say, was quite solid. The other interesting thing on Thundercats was Legends of Chima, which is a Lego-based toy line that is a Lego in-house IP, was originally going to be Thundercats.
What do you?
Wow, really?
So Lego were going to do Thundercats,
Whoa.
right? And there was something that happened. I can't tell the story very well because it's all a bit vague in terms of me reading the articles. But for whatever reason, it died, or they I think there was going to be a tie-in, so there was going to be a new animated show and all sorts of things. And it might have been that, I can't remember whether it spun out into this other show or what happened, but they pivoted. So they go, well, let's make up our own Cats thing, and that's where you get like this. I can't remember the name of the character, but it was designed as a Thundercats line.
Mind
Could you imagine?
What-
Like they would have
what
had a
could have
Thunder
been?
Tank
I-
and
I-
everything.
I can imagine an expanded world
Yeah.
where we've got Silverhawks come in,
Yeah.
Tiger Sharks come in,
Lego.
chrome-plated Lego
Yeah.
minifigs.
Could have been a thing.
Let's make it a thing. I'd be all in.
And I found that out. Callum was into Lego at the time, and I got him a lot of these Chima sets. There's like a quasi Cat's Lair. Like it's obviously different. The colors are different. It's this aesthetic. So it's not. They obviously didn't try to copy anything, but they obviously the character. Can't remember the name of the character, but they had like the lions or the tigers, lions and tigers, and then they had the reptilians, right? Like as like they had like, and they kept them in like, so the bad guys were like crocodiles and stuff.
Yeah.
And I reckon that the main character was literally Lion-O. Like, he's sculpted.
Yeah.
They
to be
didn't change
Lion-O.
it. Like, it is literally Lion-O with his sword and everything. It's like so.
Man, what could have
so
been?
cool.
Sliding
Damn,
doors,
That's
moment.
awesome.
Yeah.
I would like to combine two of my favorite things: giant transforming robots, Robotech, with the greatest science fiction television show ever put to air, modern Battlestar Galactica. I want to see an edgy, dark, brooding style of storytelling for the Robotech world.
Oh, right. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So you think like
Yes.
big
Like-
budget movie?
No, let's do a mini-series to launch it off.
Mm-hmm.
The big alien ship, the Zentronic ship, lands on Earth. We discover it. We know the Masters are coming. We build a huge city around the SDF-1. We restore it, and that's the mini-series. And then that finishes
And it
with the ship taking
launching.
off,
Yeah.
launching, and then we go into like season 1, 10 episodes, and then season 2, another 10 episodes. And it's a combined story. It's an ongoing story with awesome character development. That is what was so
good about
cool
Robotech,
about
right? Yeah.
and Battlestar Galactica. Like
Yeah.
the storytelling in there, the character development in that made you give a damn about what was going on in the show.
I like that.
Yeah.
So live action Robotech.
Yep, and then you've got to have your space battle. You've got to have your Veritech fighters, and there's got to be a Bioroid versus at the end of every episode, just to keep everyone hooked.
Yeah, I like
I think it could happen.
I think
I'd love to see
I think
that.
long. If you want long form storytelling, like previously, it would have been like you know, to use the Family Ties example, you've got 25 minutes to tell this story, and then the next week, who cares what happened, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas now, the way television is now with streaming services and stuff,
Yeah.
you can tell a story that is, you know, 10 hours worth of content, and you cut it up over the episodes to keep people hooked rather than, you know, back in the 80s, it would have been, oh, you want to tell a long story? It's got to be a movie. It's got to be a big Hollywood whatever. So, yeah, I'd be down for that.
That'd be cool.
I think you'd get a lot. There's been a lot of great sci-fi in the last 5 to 8 years or so.
Well, streaming has revolutionized sci-fi and
Yeah.
even fantasy to some extent, because you look at it before, you look at it on commercial, and a lot of the good sci-fi shows were cancelled. You know, like whatever, they couldn't find their slot on American network television, and they died. You know, the Firefly that ended. You know,
course,
the
one
Serenity
season,
and
yep.
stuff that you know had to go to a movie to sort of end it. And but yeah, streaming has revolutionized that with things like, you know, Game of Thrones and a lot of good sci-fi, Alien Earth at the moment, which is great.
All right, we do have
Beautiful.
a whole ton more questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's way too many questions for us to get through. We might leave it there. It's been an hour and a half. There's some
crackers in here. Yeah. I like that one. That's good. All right, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
They're
And
evergreen, and then we
for
can
the
do
most
some
part.
more when Ben's around.
Yeah,
so.
wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for coming over and recording another episode of Toy Power. We're going to do a couple of shout-outs before we end the episode. As we mentioned, Radical Rewind presents From Dusk to Dawn Friday. Lock it away, Friday the 3rd of October.
It's not far, is it? Have you guys started pricing stuff up yet?
For the Adelaide Toy and Comic Fair, 6th of October. No. No, I haven't.
No, that I've
gonna pop
I'll
up.
be there, but I believe I'm Scotty's +1 at the table this year, because I'm not selling at this toy fair coming up. So, well, I asked Brett to make me a +1. You seem very confused by this.
No, that's all good. I know where you're coming from. I've realised I've just done a segue with absolutely no.
Yeah, you jumped straight ahead. Like,
Yeah,
we started pricing stuff up. We just talked about From Radical Rewind. How did we get to?
We just barrel through things now.
Just wing it. No, so also, Brett and Sarah's legendary toy fair coming up on Monday, the 6th of October. We're all going to be there. Some of us will be selling. Some of us will just be spending stupid amounts of money. Looking forward to that at the St. Clair Rec Centre.
Rec Centre.
Yep, it's
Get
a
down.
great venue.
Monday. It's the public holiday
Yes,
Monday.
that's right.
so
Monday, the 6th of October.
Lock
Very
it
nice.
away.
And of course, I'll do Ben's bit here. We, in celebration of our Toy Power's 9th year, we're doing the social media one collection a day picture on all the social media things. Started on the 1st of August. Please send us a message through all the various channels with a picture of your collection. We've had some really nice sort of almost art pieces, I would say, as opposed to just a picture of a shelf. There was one with Indiana Jones and I think it was Chewie who found the Han Solo in carbonite sort of thing.
Yeah, the Grail Knight.
The Grail Knight, you're right. Which I thought was really, really awesome. So yeah, it can be anything, just a little setup you've got, or even just your favorite figure. Send us a pic. We'd love to display it and get pictures of collections from all around the world. And just share the love in celebration of our 9th birthday.
Beautiful. Good stuff. All right, that's it. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Toy Power, and to all our patrons. Thank you so much for your ongoing support and chatter on the Discord. Stay safe, take care of one another, and we will see you around the toy aisles.
And until next time, good journey!
You can find the Toy Power team at all the usual online places. Facebook.com/Toy Power Podcast, at Toy Power Podcast on both Twitter and Instagram, or have your say and email us, toypowerpodcast@gmail.com. Subscribe to the show on both iTunes and Stitcher, and please leave us a review. Otherwise, we just assume we're awesome.